Muzik.
This could start out as a beautiful love letter. They knew what I knew, how I did, they do what I does better. I ran the same turf for 30 years. There's no need to write none of it down, but it's worded clear. I'm the type to give God all the praise when the words appear. I'm the type to shut the horse's mouth cause you heard it here. I ain't got nothing to do with fear. Kill a giant like what's it doing here, and keep his head as a souvenir. A lot of people that's thinking they know me, I'm thinking they phony. This higher path, a way of life I was thinking they'd follow. Instead of knee deep in they sorrow, to sink and get swallowed. Stay in your quicksand today, it'll sink in tomorrow. See, this the type of faith that Instagram preachers could borrow. I witnessed the horror as morals get farther, it's horrible. Far enough from you that you don't think I'll get as far as you. Loan yourself out to God to let the devil borrow you. Your emotions ain't real, that's why you really conceal them. You're the truth and what's real is how you really be feeling. A dark world cold enough is what you really concealing. A world cold enough and dark enough to kill for a living. You got a gift to rap, don't gift wrap it, you gotta give it back. Don't steal what you given. His words had spoken to my spirit and the spirit was in him. He gave sight, now I have clearest of vision. He made life no longer feel like a prison. That's great, right? But this is still the beginning. The snake bite will disappear with the venom. The fake type stereotype, I take the mic and blow the stereo system. There's no comparison to it, don't dare me to do it. You scared to pursue it, rarely could show it, barely could prove it. I speak to the mountain and carefully move it. They muffle your voice with a substance of choice and it's there to abuse it. But some a drug could never help, that's why I'm sharing this music, making use of this inner substance. Been here so many times that if you don't see any signs, then don't ask me any questions. I've been through so many tragedies bonded with trauma, so understand why I never thought of God as a father, never saw him as a provider. Then he showed me, expected nothing in return, and yet he never owed me. That was the lesson learned. They could never debate it, this love was never earned, they could never cremate it. He gave me joy for ashes, it was better we traded. See him employing tactics, all his enemies hated, but it's better we made it through to see heaven created. You better avoid entrapment, you better evade it, like you better get up. I'm trying to level you up, Christ at the foundation, my house is level enough. I got a crown waiting, why would I settle for what? My work is groundbreaking, look what I'm shoveling up. I'm not your cup of tea, yeah I know it's never enough. I'm more like a cup of coffee, I'm waking everyone up. Fine on my own, I'm able to, I take my own suggestion, design it and own a label too, I make my own investment. I know they can't afford me, but I know they can't ignore me. The burden he carried for me, I plan to share his story. I don't need fans applauding me, I don't need cameras on me. I know he's my provider, that's why he's demanding more of me. Don't make no other plans, this mandate is mandatory. How could you not understand? It's self-explanatory. Fear is like contraband, you'll never catch it on me. They know they should just do it, but they never checking on me. They act like I must prove it, like truth isn't trying to be shown. That's when the fuse will get lit, that's when your mind will get blown. On this road less taken to a family inside of a home. They thought that I was forsaken, they see me driving alone. If I couldn't tell them much, probably never will. They pride got them swelling up, they must need Benadryl. That truth is like penicillin, I'm getting better still. I promise no better feeling for a void that was never filled, for needs that were never met, better yet for words that were never spoke. The poverty on my life was a curse that was never broke. Dip my grandmother's feet in the water and let them soak, praying that this tiny bottle of oil would give my mother hope. Sometimes you got to never mind them other folk, thinking there's too many colors on your many-colored coat. I bring it all into the light, what the enemy thought was weakness, cause I could never help whatever else was done in secret. See, I went from guilt of sin to treachery of transgression, to improvised study sessions, unplanned lessons. The one he can lessen is the burden I was carrying, and the purpose that he has me and no other can threaten. I know some will hate that I'm safe, but I know greatness awaits. All this way I've been patient, all it's taken is faith. There's no perfect imitation, we all have made some mistakes, but he always amazes me with all his favor and grace. So I give it all I got, for the solid foundation, like a brick and mortar spot, like it was sitting on a rock. I was sculpted in my father's image, chipped right off the block. Look how the wicked tuck and roll when I kick it off the top. Look how they disconnecting dots, they got to live with that forever. But what's puzzling is they never piecing nothing back together. Rather they taking in stride with hatred and pride. Either you searching for the answers or a place you could hide. Their guilty conscience the reason accusations arise, but they refuse to do what's right, no one can make them decide. You took a stroll up my block, you lit a candle or two, but you ain't handle no business, that business handling you. How you concealing a weapon, don't know the damage you do. And since you answer to no one get answers from you. Should've been there for a little brother when it was clear that you were needed most. Call yourself a brother in arms, that ain't even close. And now my family's house can't even be approached, it's sounded like a graveyard, they acting like they seen a ghost. For you, life goes on, for them it seems over, but you be begging for a conversation when you need closure. What I don't agree with, I won't give in to that and listen. Can't assassinate my character as if if that's the mission. The influence that I got, you don't get, that's the difference. It used to strike me as odd to see your impact was missing. Adonai talking, so I sit back and listen. Dry bones can live again, and just a quick fast decision, and a quick fast they risen. And it's so swift when it happens, even if he did ask, he skipped past permission. See, every song he ever gave me was a real song. You so-called originals could never play me, it would feel wrong. Ain't that right? Your strifing left for nothing they could build on. It might feel like you're simply born to die, you were still born. A righteous life you simply can't describe, but you're still breathing. Came to church a predator, praying, you were still heathing. Still laughing, still joking, still scheming, still ripping the scabs off all your injuries. The real reason you're still bleeding. People perish cause of lack of knowledge while you still need them, cause what they don't know gon' kill them, and they don't know it's kill season. Your enemy is right outside them doors and you will meet them. That's exit wounds gained upon entry, but you still leaving with lack of information. Then wonder why when captured by them agents, why they won't put you back into their matrix. I should congratulate you, more than half will never make it. Ignorance to it is bliss, but do you actually escape it? Simple fact, critics acting like I slapped them in their faces or generically offended them, attacked them with the basics. They crawl out the woodwork, I put them back into their places. Yahusha was a carpenter, and that to me was sacred. So whatever's in your lifetime, I pray you live your best life. You only live it once, I'm not gonna see you in your next life. Stereotype for what you dress like, it seem odd. Your algorithm's still trying to find the last place you seen God. Salvation's not a trend, y'all pretend it's not rendering. He told me stop reciting, stop writing, start remembering. If you talking my purpose, I'll give you thoughts that were perfect. This is how we transition me from performance to worship. It's way too hard to rehearse, but an open heart could interpret. Some things just happen organically, couldn't force or coerce it. A corporate office assistant, a kitchen floor flipping burgers. You may not notice the difference between the bosses and workers. Promiscuous 16, my peers mock me with laughter. She ain't know she was my first, appointments with doctors came after. Ain't a lesson I learned that was ever not in them chapters, but they ain't bothered to teach it, so I never bothered your pastors. Thought I was at the end of my rope, there was more for me. Never had to knock the hustle, they opened the door for me. Oh, you got the block clicking? Yeah, I'm glad you getting cake, but strings attached when it's fast. You'll be mad you didn't wait. I wrap it up when it happens, you see it done for it's finished. But even if you clairvoyant, my future's none of your business. Doesn't matter, you ain't got nothing to witness. Future Latter-day Saint, you only one if you in it. Fear can scar you for life, you only run if you timid. I seen a marvelous light that gave me a wonderful image. Your categories don't matter, your system tries cause it must. Truth is when everything burns, everything dies in the dust. Yahweh is the God that I serve. As far as why I would trust, when they kept secrets about him, they was lying to us. Different names for Yahusha, the translations all him. Shouldn't matter what you call him, long as you call him. It's the life I chose, 10 toes deep, I'm all in. Rather jumping head first than a trip and fall in. No earthly weapon protects you from the real enemy against you, but if no weapon against you could prosper, they never meant to. There's a true friend that sticks closer than a brother, a friendship that brings brothers closer to each other. If all you get is one, there ain't supposed to be another. A few topics that he spoke to me supposedly to cover. You take pearls of wisdom, throw them in the gutter, but what some people discard could be the hope that you discover. He freed every prisoner, unshackled every chain. Yours must be invisible, cause somehow you remain. You confess in hatred, I don't know your language. You think love is dangerous, I know that it's painless. You say he ain't got a name, I know what his name is. You don't think we not the same, cause I know what the same is. You think I'm a judge, I know I would never. You keep saying you know best, I know something better. You think it's a secret, that's exactly why I don't. Cause you think you can keep it, that's exactly why you won't. He said love conquers all, fear is no exception. He showed them his works and yet they barely give it mention. They're just too afraid to pay his miracles attention. But if there's even a trace of God there, there's intervention. You keep out of reach, I've been trying to reach you. You keep taking poison when I tell you it's lethal. If you put on the armor, you'd protect the heart then. Cause if it's a matter of the heart, you should dress the part then. I was living wrong too, I ain't here to scare you. I could only warn you for what I could not prepare you. I could only tell you play it safe when others dare you. If you'd rather not be safe, then I could only say be careful. There's a time for peace, there's a time to go to war. That's a time that I would rather say less and show you more. That's a time when God will turn a labyrinth to an open floor. I let him lead my path and I'm amazed at what he chose me for. I let his spirit guide me till this light work for me. His words circled all the answers, highlighted in a search for me. So I ain't crossed to see you blessed, I could give him thanks for you. I don't do crosswords, but I'll fill in the blanks for you. A hand reached out in the dark, but whose was it? We all wanna be asleep inside the ark, like who doesn't? We all have a choice, and some refuse that and do nothing. But you have to let them choose that because you do love them. That's why I hit the ground running, ready to move something. Cause I refuse to only find God when I lose something. This is not an act, state your opinion like it's not a fact. As if it's not a fact, the opinionated don't know how to act. Can't obey the truth, they find it difficult to follow that. Can't obey their thirst, they got it twisted like a bottle cap. But if you do know where to meet me, then you know where my God is at. And I trust him to keep me even if it's where I started at. A beautiful love letter.